Dr. Elena Vasquez adjusted the massive radio telescope's orientation for the third time that evening, her coffee growing cold in the Chilean observatory's thin mountain air. The array of 1,000 eyes had been scanning the same seemingly empty sector of space for 6 months now, part of humanity's ever-expanding search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Most nights yielded nothing but cosmic background radiation and the occasional pulsar's rhythmic heartbeat. Tonight was different. The signal emerged from the static like a whisper in a hurricane, faint, desperate, and utterly alien. Elena's heart raced as she fine-tuned the receivers, watching the waveform dance across her monitors. This wasn't the structured mathematical sequences scientists had theorized first contact might contain. This was something far more primal, a cry for help. "Director Chen, you need to see this," Elena called across the control room, her voice tight with excitement and disbelief. Director Chen hurried over, his weathered face creasing with concern as he studied the data streaming across the screens. The signal was weak, heavily degraded by distance and interference, but there was an unmistakable pattern buried within the chaos. It repeated every 47 seconds, each iteration slightly different, as if the sender was growing more desperate with each attempt. "How far?" Chen asked quietly. "Based on the signal degradation and redshift analysis, approximately 4 light-years. The Proxima Centauri system." Chen's eyes widened. Humanity's closest stellar neighbor had been thoroughly surveyed by automated probes decades ago. No signs of life had been detected, but those probes had been designed to look for Earth-like biosignatures, not advanced civilizations. Within hours, the discovery had reached the highest levels of human government. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session as linguists, xenobiologists, and communications experts worked frantically to decode the alien transmission. Dr. Sarah Kim, Earth's leading expert in xenolinguistic theory, led the translation effort. "It's not language as we understand it," Dr. Kim explained to the hastily assembled rescue committee. "It's pure emotion encoded in electromagnetic frequencies. Fear, desperation, and something else. Hope, maybe. They're not trying to communicate with us specifically. They're screaming into the void, hoping anyone will hear." The implications were staggering. An alien civilization was in mortal peril, broadcasting their death song to an apparently empty universe. Every major government on Earth faced the same question. What was humanity's obligation to beings they'd never met, in a star system they'd never visited? The debate raged for precious hours. Some argued that humanity barely had the resources to sustain its own interstellar colonies. Others pointed to the massive risks of first contact with a desperate alien species. But Admiral Marcus Torres, commander of Earth's interstellar fleet, cut through the political posturing with characteristic bluntness. 4 years ago, we lost contact with the mining station at Kepler 442b, he said, addressing the council. 43 people died in that ion storm because no one could reach them in time. If there had been aliens nearby with the ability to help, I would have wanted them to try. The decision was unanimous. Operation Lighthouse would be humanity's first interstellar rescue mission. Captain Jessica Park had commanded deep space vessels for over a decade, but nothing had prepared her for this. The HSS Endeavour was humanity's fastest ship, its experimental Alcubierre drive capable of reaching Proxima Centauri in 18 months. Her crew of 47 volunteers represented the best of human science, engineering, and medicine. As they dropped out of warp at the edge of the Proxima system, the scope of the disaster became clear. Proxima Centauri was experiencing unprecedented solar activity, massive coronal ejections that would sterilize any planet in the habitable zone. But there, hidden in the shadow of a large asteroid, was something impossible: a space station. "My God," whispered Dr. Kim from her station on the bridge. "They're not from a planet. They're space dwellers." The alien station was beautiful in its alienness, crystalline structures that seemed to grow rather than be built, pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that matched the distress signal exactly. But it was dying. Radiation from the stellar storms was overwhelming their shielding, and their population was trapped with no way to escape their star's fury. First contact protocols went out the window as Captain Park ordered emergency docking procedures. The aliens, graceful ethereal beings that seemed more energy than matter, were as surprised by humanity's arrival as humans were by their existence. Dr. Kim's emotional translation Matrix proved invaluable as both species worked desperately to coordinate the evacuation. The Karath, as they called themselves, had evolved in the void between stars, their civilization built around massive generation ships that traveled between stellar systems. This was their youngest colony, established only centuries ago when Proxima Centauri had been stable. They had never imagined their star could turn so violent so quickly. Over the next 72 hours, human ingenuity and Karath desperation forged an unlikely alliance. The Endeavor's cargo bays were reconfigured into temporary habitats using Karath biotechnology. Human engineers worked alongside alien symbiotists to adapt life support systems for beings who breathed methane and absorbed cosmic radiation for sustenance. "This is impossible," muttered Chief Engineer Rodriguez as he watched Karath technicians integrate their organic computing systems with human quantum processors. "Their entire technology base is biological. It shouldn't be compatible with our electronics." But impossibility meant nothing when lives hung in the balance. The Karath numbered only 800, the last survivors of a once great nomadic civilization that had been slowly dying out across the galaxy. Their rescue became humanity's first great act of interstellar compassion. As the Endeavor departed the Proxima system with its precious cargo, the Karath elder, HFY, approached Captain Park through the translation matrix. The message that came through was simple but profound. "Your species chose to answer a call never meant for your ears. You traveled impossible distances to save strangers you had never met. The galaxy remembers such acts, Captain Park. The galaxy remembers who stands ready in the darkness." 6 months later, as the Endeavor approached Earth's orbital stations with its refugee population, humanity learned the truth. The Karath were not alone in the galaxy. They were part of an ancient network of civilizations that had been watching younger species for millennia, waiting to see who would prove worthy of joining the greater community. Humanity had just passed their first test.